Good evening, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to another round of CSS. This time, as I said, well, as I always say, on the better console, we are back here for the Xbox League. Joining me in the box tonight, as always, obviously you have myself, Adam Roberts, and Mr. Zach Clark. Good evening, Zach. How are you today, mate? Well, very tired. It's the simple answer. Coming back from Milton Keynes. Obviously, I live up north, so it's a very long drive back. It's a 4-hour drive. So yes, I am tired, but we're going on willpower. Willpower. That's what we're working off. I won't be snoring during the whole thing. Don't worry. But we are just about to get going here for round 8. Tonight we are at the legendary Hungary. It's no shockers as to what country that's in. It's Hungary, if you don't know. But this is the last week, Zach, before we have a break week next week, I believe. You love a break week, yes. Just double checking, and I wasn't talking nonsense. It is a break week after tonight, with 4 rounds remaining after tonight. So as we are now loading in, um, obviously after last week's, I don't know if the standings have actually been updated. Unfortunately, Ace had said that he forgot to do them, so I'm going to have a quick check just to, and they have been. They have now been updated, so that's good. So we will quickly run through the standings before we get out onto the track. And TTM returned back to winning ways last week after not winning the previous week, but they returned to winning ways, and it was a grand slam for Mr. Furious, who was just completely dominant last week. Obviously, he's not racing tonight. You have got Martin and Josh Gilly in instead. But TTM did extend their advantage, Zach, and they're now 115 points clear. He is indeed, yes. Mr. Jack Lemming himself has been signed by Shazoo just a few days ago. And he is making his debut for Team Shazoo tonight. So hopefully he can do a good job for us. As we are now going out onto track, it will be Flo, who is the lead driver.
I think my audio.
You didn't include your audio.
I was.
So there's a special moment already there by Mr. Zach Clark, who clearly is is more asleep than I am.
My special.
So
Wow.
10 points for you. So it looks like, even though that there was a little bit of a debate going on in the chat about TTM not getting in time, it looks like that they are going out on track.
Oh, what?
Is that the case? I don't know.
I'm about to send. Let's send a message. No, but those in the pits. What are you yapping about?
No, they are on the pitch, but I don't know if it's been confirmed. Sorry, I meant to say. I'm not too sure what the crack is. So.
Well, they were complaining about the rules, so I assume they know they've actually got quality ban. But
well, if that's the case, then TTM have kind of shot themselves in the foot. Obviously, yes, they do have that 115-point gap over TF10, who are now in second place. But that's not the start that they wanted to have happened. Now, it does look like at least qualifying is going to be dry, seeing as though some people are taking their time to come out of the pits, but it's going to be Gergo who's going to set the initial banker as he comes down the main straight. We'll ride on board with the Alpine driver as he comes into turn 1. 8th gear breaks at about just after the 100-meter marker board. Misses the apex slightly on the inside, but it's still good rotation at least there through the Alpine man. Down the hill into turn 2. Takes quite a bit of curb on the right-hand side, turns, but gets the car that turning very nicely through the flat-out turn 3, and now we rise up the hill to turn 4. Personally, the most difficult corner on the circuit. Can easily cut it or extend it, but no such problems there. Gergo takes a late apex through turn 5, doesn't use the whole track on the outside, so not really taking full advantage there. Could have taken a bit more speed as we go through the chicane and into this middle, very twisty 90-degree corner complex. good speed through there, through the exit. And here's another difficult corner, but it's a very fast-flowing right-hander. 53.6 middle split. Obviously, we will expect people to go quicker as the session continues. Through another 90-degree right through the hairpin here, the penultimate corner. Again, this is a make-or-break corner, this, because traction is very key. And then through the last corner, you want to take as much speed as we know on the exit. Gergo setting a decent lap there as his banker lap. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 15.1. Not a bad effort there, Zach.
Yeah, decent lap from the AMS driver. I think next across the line is going to be...
This is James.
James, yeah.
This is James, who was about half a tenth up on Gergo through the middle split and goes 400s clear of him. So James takes that pole position, provisional pole position for ATX. We've got a Red Bull coming over next, but they're on an outlap, whether that is Jack or if that is M Racer. A McLaren, is that Simbarox one coming through? It is, but he has invalidated, as has one of the Alfa Romeos, which is Flo. Chudy has not invalidated as he comes through the final corner now. Does the TF10 man, can he take that provisional pole away? What's it going to be? Does he get into the 14s? He does with a 14.8 and immediately puts a benchmark down to the rest of the grid.
Yeah, good luck there from the TF10 driver, Chudy. His teammate did invalidate and is now on the pit lane, but BXM goes P2 with a very... Oh, and
Maxi!
Who is this, Donny?
Where's this come from? Yeah,
who's he?
I mean, I know you don't mean that to be, to be rude, but I did not expect. FGE there, with a cracking lap there. That's a really good effort. As it's that's Jack actually come through the final corner.
All right, let's see
so I believe it is going to be. Well, you can go and have a look yourself, but the next driver to complete the lap is going to be Mick for Team Shazoo. 53.6 middle split. He's got an Aston Martin that gets well out of his way, thankfully. So at the moment, the 53.6 middle split is on par with James and Gergo. So hopefully Enracer's got a bit of time to find, or you can find some time through the final sector, through the final corner. He goes, takes a lot of curve on the exit, really pushing the limits. But it's only a 15.2 there for Mick. And only goes P8. He'll be wanting to find a lot more time. Simbarox 1 went for a second run to just get a time on the board. He does a 15.4. We now have one of the Mercs who's come into the pits, and Ghost has obviously finished his lap. Previously, Radius is on a lap. Who is going to be the next driver then? Is it going to be Jack? I believe it will be Jack. Like I said, on his debut for Team Shazoo, middle split, 53.4. Now, that's a quarter of a second up on what M Racer did, his teammate, and apparently purple middle sector. Believe it or not, we'll wait and see. Through the penultimate corner, keeps it really tight to the apex. Some people like to go and drift in a little bit wider, just try and get a bit more rotation on the exit, but that is Jack's most preferred line. Through the final corner now, to the line. Where does Jack go? P3, 14.9, a 10th off pole.
Yeah, decent lap from Jack now. I think he just recently returned from leaving TF10, joining not your team, but you know what I mean, the team that you are in. And I think the next person to start the lap is an Aston Martin of Radius, and Radius is finishing his lap. He had a 54.1 middle split, and he's going to come across the hairpin final corner, across the line now. He's going to go P12, which is not very good for Radius now.
Yeah, I mean he'll certainly want to find quite a bit more time. But once again, Finbob once again racing for BRT, but I believe this is his Radius's first appearance of the season. So we'll just have to wait and see how he goes. As I'm just trying to say, I think Gergo is already going to be starting his second attempt on his second set of tyres. Has he gone for the softer option? I'm not too sure, or he's just decided he wants to get out early just so he can not have as much traffic. He's got a couple of cars coming out of the pits on exit. Hopefully they're going to wait, and they do indeed. So Gergo will have a clear track in front of him. Zach, take it away.
Thank you very, very much. Where has Gergo actually? Let me find it on there.
It's gone through turn 1 into turn 2.
Gergo now into now through turn 3. It's kind of half a hairpin, but you open up the corner on the exit now, fling the car through the flat out right-hander. to end sector 1. I only caught the end of the first sector, you know. It's alright, 5,000 off on this time of year. It's a bit slowly through the fast left hand, it goes go. But round another hairpin, he goes in that Alpine car, breaks on at 450, flings the car into the chicane, gets a decent exit. Now he's going to go through this, it's not an S section, but it's just like some really dodgy bad section, which I don't like anyway. Now he's going to, Martin retiring, which confirms TCM do have 2 Q-bands, but you can see the Haas of an ATX driver moving out of the way now as Gergo goes into the final sector, just going, I think he's done like decent enough so far. It has looked very solid. I don't know how fast it has been, but it has
I
looked
mean,
decent.
he's
Now,
only a couple of hundreds up, but he needs to find a bit more.
yeah, as he goes around the final corner now, DRS activated, and across the line, he's going to go P6.
Yeah, improves 1 place and found a little bit of time. It's very similar to his first attempt, found a little bit of time here and there. Will want to find a bit more, but at least he does improve on his position, and as I said, obviously does move into P6. Flo has backed out, so he's going to go again. Drobble is going on his lap. He is going through the middle sector as Jordan Arnold goes P9 there for ATX. But we're going to keep on board with the AERT man of Drobble, who's not set a lap time as of yet. Middle split 53.7. That's a little bit down in comparison to what we've seen with the top drivers that have been doing. So hopefully he can get a decent last sector. Might put him, he's going to be looking sort of be around that Gergo, James, Finbob area. And in fact, he decides to abandon, come straight into the pit. So Drobble not having the best of qualities to begin with. But obviously, as you mentioned, Zach, obviously it has been confirmed because TTM joined late, which is unfortunate. They do have a double quali ban. I mean, yes, they do have that big lead, but it is possible that that lead could be not wiped out, but seriously dented.
It could be seriously dented and reduced, because I think if you do get a 1-2, it's around 50 odd points. And say Shizu or TCM do get a 1-2, that's going to really cut into their lead, and TCM will have to properly work for it. But as it stands, Shizu are P3 and P10, and TF10 are P2 and P20. Because I think Phil has invalidated both ones, I'm pretty sure. But I think we have got Finbob, who finished
good lap
P3.
there,
Decent lap from him.
Yeah, very good lap there by Finbob. Yeah, just caught ball with him going through the final corner. He was just over 2 tenths up and then found another 10th in that final split. So good lap there by Finbob. Obviously, BRT need to get some good results coming in. And his 3rd place start at the moment is going to look good. His teammate is on an out lap at the moment. Is Mick the Shizu driver on a lap? But he is. He's only just come through turn 1. We have the Mercedes of Langman, I think, is going to, again. He's further behind, so it's BXM through the first split. 14,000 up on his previous best, so currently going in the right direction as he comes through turn 5 now into the chicane of 6 and 7. He has Finbob in front of him. Hopefully he will get out of his way so he does not get held up as we round and board. Now coming through the little S section, 90-degree corners, then flat out through the left kick before downshifting into the right-hander. Is he up on his time? The answer is yes. He's found another half a 10 as BXM, so this at the moment will actually propel him up into P3. Could challenge Chudy and even maybe Max. You can find some more through these final couple of corners here. Can BXM for Team FRT. His teammate currently with him on that 3rd row for the moment. He's not far behind and going to finish this lap. But where could BXM go? The answer is he goes into 3rd place, lost a bit of time, didn't improve in that final split, but at least he managed to propel himself a bit as Emracer gets a good lap in and he goes provisional pole for Team Shizu, who hopefully are going to bounce back. After the unfortunate aspect of the previous week, as Langman did improve on his time, but stays P7.
Yeah, decent from him, and I think with an AlphaTauri finishing his lap now, yes, it's Senor Ghost.
I think he was starting a lap, but Chudy is 1/4 of a second up on his time, and Chudy goes nearly 2 tenths clear of Emracer with a 14.5. The Romanian there showing them how it's done. It could, well, let's hope it, well, if it's let's hope it's another pole position for him, but let's hope that he can actually convert that pole position into a better result. Jack now coming through the penultimate corner. He's only a couple of hundredths up on his previous best. I mean, it's still enough to propel him a couple of places. Hopefully there's more time to gain through this final sector. Takes more curb on the exit this time than they did previously. He does jump up onto the 2nd row into 4th place. So a good, decent quality for the time being for Team Shizu. but they'll want to try and find a bit more. Langman obviously going to come
Yeah.
into the pits. Jordan is on an outlap.
Yeah, definitely.
However,
Maxi, I saw, came into the pits. I think he made a mistake on his lap, so he had to abort. But Sylvie Thievame right now is very solid. And I think you said we have Jordan on an outlap.
yes,
So,
well, I've now gone on board with Drobble, actually, who's on another attempt. He's coming through the chicane. I didn't see his first sector split, but he's in the middle sector now. I mean, there is an Alpine further up the road. I'm going to presume that's Gergo on another attempt. But we'll stick on board with the AERT man, who has still yet to set a time, along with 3 other drivers, minus TTM, who do have that qualified. 53.3 middle sector, though, for Drobble. That's a very good middle split. That's actually on par with what Judy had set, I believe, at the end of Sector 2. So Drobble here could potentially go on to the front row for the time being. Let's see if we can get this final sector done, though, through the final corner. Keeps it tight to the inside line. Doesn't quite use the whole exit, but where can he go?
P2.
And it is P2 for Drobble for AERT. Great lap there.
Yeah, fair play from Drobble. Really good lap from ART. And ART's form has been picking up recently. Obviously, you saw in my Mirror 42, the GOAT getting the I think it was P3 in Spain. Really good lap from him. So they've been slowly starting to get back at it. I mean, Grand Prix revived ART a few weeks ago. And he's done well recruiting.
Sorry, yes, he is. Yeah, so I've just got on board with ATX's Jordan, and he has also set a 53.3 middle split, so he could also join. He could potentially get into that top 3, top 4. He's gone very wide, though, at the final corner, loses the car on the rear. He's lost a lot of time. He goes P5, but he's lost a lot of time through that final corner. There is more time there to be found for the ATX driver, but it's still a decent attempt there, and he does go P5 for now. As we've got 3.5 minutes. So I was just going to say we've got 3.5 minutes to go. He's going to have to hurry up and get back to the pits if he wants to get another attempt in, or that might be him done for this session.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight for him getting back in session now, but I'm still curious about what happened to Flo because he's not actually set at that time
that's
yet.
the one person I'm still looking at as well. It is a TF10 sandwich, but Flo still yet to set a time, and actually TTM are still currently 16th and 18th. It's still not even last yet. You know, Partik's not set a lap. G League's Mirage is still not set a lap as of yet.
Mirage has a quali ban.
That would explain why. I didn't know that. Ultra is now starting a lap. Hopefully he can improve on that 1:16.9 that he's currently set. And at the moment, he's going to be the only driver to actually be on a lap with Jordan on an in-lap. So we'll stick on board with the G League driver as he comes down the hill in towards turn 2. Can't really make out from some of these camera angles. Some of them are pretty poor. Obviously, we know it's flat out through turn 3, but let's ride on board with him as he go up the hill into turn 4. Takes a lot of curb there. Oh, he cuts the inside quite a bit and unsettled the car quite heavily there. The McLaren there keeping well out of the way as we come through the chicane. And again, missing the apex. Well, that just confirms Jordan. And that's him done for the session. He'll start no better than P5. But Ultra struggling here to just keep this car on the racing line to take these optimal lines. As we come through to the end of the middle sector, is he actually, and he's invalidated. Well, that just sums it up there. He was actually 6/10 up on his time, but still needs to find even more so if he wanted to actually improve. So we will go on board with, it's going to be a Langman is going to be the next driver, or is Partik further up the road? Partik is further up the road. However, he's only set a 27.6 first sector. So we will go on board with Langman, who is a quarter of a second up through the first sector. And if he can keep that up, actually, that could actually propel him up onto the front row.
Yeah, so let's go on board with Langman through the last sector now. He's just going to do the best he can to try gain all that time to maybe join his teammate in the top 7. He's a 10.5 up now into the final sector. He's going to do all he can to maximise the last inches, or the last second, sorry, of his time. Now he's going to go through the penultimate hairpin. He touches the grassy bar on the entry to the final corner. Maybe that'll lose him a bit of time, but on the exit, he's going to not use all the curb. The RS activated, and he only improved by 1,000.
How he has lost near enough the whole time that he gained in that first sector. He is going to be massively disappointed with that because he could easily have prevailed himself up higher up. BXM has also gone lawn mowing. And he's backed out completely, so he might... Well, let's just see if he... Langman has retired on track.
Oh, for God's sake. Why is it not that?
No comment. No comment to that one, but go ball with M Racer. He said, "Oh, M
moving
Racer, why have you
swiftly.
invalidated? You've invalidated. How? Where? Why have you done that? What would you have done? You'd have gone P2 with that."
Who else?
We will go on board with his teammate Jack, though, who has not invalidated and is a 10th up at the moment through the middle split as a BRT drivers come into the pits that they have now finished. There is a Haas coming across the line. I believe that is going to be Jet. Well, it will be James. He's not completing his line. Where does Jack go? He goes P2 onto the front row, replaces Drobble there. Can the AERT man respond? Maxi has backed out. He's finished. Simbox1 goes into P7, so propels himself up a little bit. We have an Alpine, I believe, is going to be next. Is that Partick? It is not Partick. Which I've gone the wrong way. I've gone the long way. So that will be Gergo, who's a 10th and a half up, actually, is Gergo. So he can propel himself up here. Maybe into the top 6. Maybe even the top 5. Where can he go? It's only 10th. He lost time in the final sector. We have a TF10 driver coming across the line. That is Flo going P8. Where can Chudy go? He improves by 3/4 of a 10th. Extends his lead once again at the top there.
John invalidated. He was 2 cents down, but like I said, he did make a mistake there. He got BXM coming around the final corner now.
BXM's
His middle split is down, 5 cents down.
Radius has gone for a crash into the wall. That's him finished. We have the AlphaTauri. That'll be Senior Ghost.
That is it.
That's not, it's not Senior Ghost, but he's invalidated. He's going to cross the line anyway. But that is indeed the end of qualifying. And once again, it's TF10's Chudy with another pole position to his name. And this time, it seemed to be quite comfortable.
Yeah, it does seem to be quite comfortable. No, but I think Chudy's going to have a rapid face, and obviously Jack's going to challenge him. But Joel will be 3 for ART. Very, very good start. And Maxi, who still don't know who he is, with all due respect to him, P5 for FG. To be fair, FG have done well. P5 and P7. Decent start for them. They're trying to gain points to get higher in the championship. So that's a very good start for them.
Indeed, yeah. Obviously, back with ART, you know, obviously they picked up that podium last time out with Mirror. You know, getting that P3 finish, which, you know, got my drive of the day votes. And Drobble, unfortunately, didn't have the best of races. But he's bounced back here. He's had a very good quali session. Flo might be a bit disappointed to be down in P8, but I think the main thing was he had to get a time on the board, or else he would have been starting last. I wish Jack would just... There we go, he has retired. I was going to say, because I was hoping not to get a stupid 5-place grid penalty so we don't have to restart this whole thing. But that's his qualifying over and done with. Obviously, we don't know what it's going to be like for the race, whether or not we're going to get some meatballs, or, you know, if it's going to be another dry session. But Chudy is your pole sitter, followed by Jack, Drobble in P3, so 3 different teams that are in the top 3. But, you know, Chudy looked quite comfortable there. M Racer getting P4, Maxi's 5th with Jordan in 6th. A good effort there for the ATX man. With Simbrock 7th, Flo is 8th. BXM will be disappointed, I think, to be 9th. And Finbob rounding out the top 10. Then you've got Gergo and Langman. As we saw, Langman lost a lot of time himself. So FRT should have been higher up, but unfortunately they're only 9th and 12th. Then you have Radius, James, Senior Ghost, Partick and Ultra. And then your... non-qualifiers of Martin, Mirage, and Josh Gilly. So it'll be interesting to see where the TTM drivers can propel themselves. They're going to have to obviously get some overtaking done and get it done quickly. But we know, especially, you know, with the racecraft and the many years' experience that Martin has in particular, Zach, as to we know what he can do.
Yeah, I think the race will be insane though. TTM. Gonna have a big job to do, as Hungary is known for being a very, very hard-track way of taking. But to be fair, points go all the way down to P15 in this tournament, so if they can get both cars up into their damage conversation, it would be. But I reckon they can still do well.
Oh yeah. I do expect them to, you know, get some decent points out of this at least. But again, they've got to get the overtaking done. They're going to have to get it done quickly if they want to get some decent points and maybe have a bold strategy call. Obviously, we'll have to see what Tesla's got cooking. Hopefully, it's not something dodgy. But we'll wait and see. But speaking of Tez, obviously you were a letdown, mate, for not coming, you know, yesterday. Very disappointed. And that's all I'm going to say on that matter. But everyone get your thoughts and predictions in the chat. You were hungover. That's a piss poor excuse. I brought my gloves. Where were you?
Tesla's hungover. Jesus Christ,
you know,
I
drank Saturday and Sunday night, you know.
Mate, GTOs are clear, don't hear it. Just don't burn it.
But yeah, get your thoughts on everybody, what you think is going to happen.
I
Everyone
have
saying good evening,
top
lads.
three
Good evening to
predictions.
you too.
Let's do our weekly top three predictions, Roberts.
Yeah, you go
Right,
first.
I'll start. I'll start this week. P1, Judy. Let me check the grid actually.
Let me check the gritty that my guy's forgotten.
P1 Judy, I'm saying. P2, I'm saying M Racer. P3, let's go for Maxi. We have an underdog.
Interesting. As an underdog, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, P1 Tudy, does he know? To be honest, Harv, I'm actually going to agree with you on that. Harv is the Leclerc. He'll get pole, but he won't win the race. And I'm going to agree with you on that. So I am going to go with a... I think Jack will win this race. I think he'll get a win on his debut for Team Shazoo. I'm going to go with a Drobble P2. That's my... I'm going to go with that. I think AERT will get one better than they did last week. And P3, I'm going to go sort of bold, but maybe not too bold. I'm actually going to bring the race director up here because I can't remember where he qualified. But I'm actually going to go with a Flow P3.
What was your first and second, sorry?
So I've gone Jack first and Drobble P2.
I think decent stuff from us there. I think it's not out of the order, but it's often.
No.
Harry Jenner said Jordan Arnold disconnects. I agree, to be fair. Because he has like ATM for him, and he's in New Zealand. So I just hope that Virgin Media doesn't actually do it again, because that would not be ideal.
Yes, exactly. Oh dear. Well, obviously the
It
drivers...
was so unfortunate.
It is also unfortunate. Well, I was just going to say the drivers know when to ready up. It's entirely up to them as to when we go. But we don't know what the weather's going to be like. I mean, it does look like it's at least dry, pretty much the same as to what it was in qualifying. So maybe there's, it's just going to be a... Joseph going with a she win. Shazoo win. Okay. Well, let's just hope, Joseph, that... Well, we know Jack... Well, I don't know what network Jack uses because he's on the other side of the pond. But, let's just hope that... Well, at least we know with both of our drivers, they're not using Virgin Media today. So we don't have that problem. After having a lengthy chat with Richard Branson and as to the calamities as to that we had to put up with, and it cost us big style, dropping from second to fourth in the point standings, or was it third to fourth? It was one of the two. Either way, we're in fourth place now, but we're still waiting here for the drivers to get going and to ready up.
What did everyone have for dinner today? I'll start.
I had lamb.
I had lamb. Carbonara. Let's go. So I'm in a great mood today, Adam.
Why are you in a great mood?
Altering a 1-1-0 today. Fucking buzzing.
Oh.
Easy.
Fair enough. Well, excuse me, I'm...
Oh, Aiden
knackered,
said
but,
ribs, chips and onion rings. But
that sounds good. That definitely sounds good.
But 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix and CSS. And the lights out and away we go. And I think I've seen people drop down as M Racer. Or what? Never mind, my game's glitched.
Yep, your game definitely has glitched as Tudy goes into turn 1 comfortably in the lead. No pressure from behind, but that is because he's on the soft compounder tyre, as we can see by the red wall ring. Jack maintains P2. Oh, there's a massive crash in the background. That's Flo gone out already, with a radius involved in that as well. Somehow that's only a virtual safety car. We have 2 drivers of Josh Gillian, I can't remember, and Radius, both picking up severe collision warnings, well, penalties there, as if that is only a virtual, and Martin getting a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, which he'll have to, he will serve that in the pits.
Yeah. I think I saw FRT and Flo make contact there.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I did see a Mercedes. Well, it must be BXM because Langman's up into P8 and BXM is down into P14. Has BXM got damage? The answer is yes, he's missing his whole front wing. But how that is only a virtual safety car and not a full safety car, I will never know. But that's, well, so no Burt Mylander for the time being, but that is, well, that's one TF10 driver out, one FRT driver with a pit stop to make, and Radius is missing his front wing as well. So that's 3 drivers with their races fully compromised, as well as Martin picking up a, you'd probably say, an unfortunate 5-second penalty, but the game's the game. He has to serve it. There's nothing he can do about it. You can't get it removed. And we continue going, but obviously, you know, at least it was clean up at the front, but obviously that mid-pack was very tight, as everyone seems to be going, and as a BXM just puts salt into the wounds there, speeds into the pit lane. Harvey, have words with your driver as we go back under racing conditions, as Martin trying to go for an inside move on the inside of Gergo. Right aboard with the TTM man. I was going to say TRL man then. He's just not changed his game tag, obviously. But he gets into P10, round the outside of turn 2. A good move. But TTM with a double penalty here. That's what was already a difficult task has been made even more difficult.
Yeah, it has been made very, very difficult because apparently, well, I thought they just drove through and then they just got 5 seconds. So I thought it was for yellow flags or something. But Chudy with a 1.6 or 1.8, sorry, obviously increasing gap to P2 now. Yeah, near the front it has remained all the same pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a look at the tyre situation now, though. I haven't actually put that on. But there are 2 drivers on the soft compounder tyres. Well, Flo was also on the soft compounder tyres as Martin goes for an inside move on the inside there of Finn Bob into the start of Sector 3. Good move there, gets the job done. He's obviously got to get these places up early, and especially now that he's got that penalty over his head. But yeah, Chudy now with a 2.5-second gap near enough out in front. He is on the softer compounder tyres. Do expect that at this early stage, but those tyres will begin to bite back. As the stint goes on. Obviously, it is a very long race here. 35 laps as Martin now going for another move. This time he's going to be inside of FRT's Langman, and now Martin already into P8 as his teammate Josh Gilly, who's actually gone for the harder compounder tyres, gets a move done on Senior Ghost. But yeah, I mean, I think Jack may have been caught snapping a little bit on that restart, because I don't think the gap was as much as a 1.5 seconds, unless I was, you know, could be talking rubbish, but you know, that gap now already up at nearly 3 seconds. Chudy is on the afterburners and he's pulling away.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I don't know if it's a space difference because Jack was good in quality, but it must be just so soft, just absolutely being amazing right now. They will definitely be dying soon as Martin needs to move into P7 and Langman even go.
Oh, Langman, yeah, exactly, yeah,
Langman. In the middle
Langman.
sector, yeah. He's going to hang around the outside phase. He's now got to get the inside line, and it makes a move, to be fair to him.
Yeah, good move there from Langman, taking advantage of Martin getting the move done on Simbarox 1 through the chicane, which put him off guard. Oh, as Simbarox 1 breaks very late there and actually goes off track, and that invites Finn Bob now through into P9. Simbarox 1 not having a great lap here for FGE after, you know, well, he's certainly a guy you can rely on in Simbarox well, but that lap there, he's lost 3 places now. Gergo seems to be on the attack as his teammate has just lost a place out to Martin. And here comes Gergo now, going to go down the inside into turn 1. Can he get it done? Simbarox 1 does leave him plenty of space on the inside. He will have the better traction, though, on the exit of the corner. He does just about hold on, but he is really struggling. As in the background there, we can see James and Josh Gilly almost going side by side through turn 2, but James just outbreaking the TTM man going through the corner, but out in front. A bit of a train now. Well, the train is pretty much developed from P2 all the way down to the G League, who are currently 16th and 17th, but 3.6 second gap now between Chudy and Jack. Is that gap already too big?
It's only at 4, but he just keeps extending every single lap. So it's still his toe right now, but I reckon next 2 laps it's gonna get even bigger and bigger. But Simbarox is just trying to keep within a second of Finn Bob, because I thought I saw a gap within the middle of the pack, and Simbarox is struggling to keep up with Finn Bob when that train ahead of him. So I think he will still be in DRS this upcoming lap, but Finn Bob just trying to get Simba out of his DRS.
Here comes Tyrrell Martin now down the pit straight on the inside there of Jordan Arnold. I've mixed up Jordan with Arnold there. Yeah, that's his new name now. That's what he's called from now on. But Martin now up into P5. So considering that he started right at the back of the field, it is obviously he's done a very good job. He's avoided the carnage. He's already into P5 by the start of lap 5. But obviously that 5-second penalty is going to push him further back. Jack hasn't lost as much on that previous lap to Judy. Maybe these hard tyres will now start to come into play. But I'm trying to think here, Zach. Is there a 2-tyre compound difference between the mediums and the hards on this track, or am I thinking of a different track where that's the case? Because I know there is one, if not two, where that's the case.
Maybe. Let me look through my notes quickly.
Yeah, you might have to have a look there if you've got anything on that. But it looks to be, well, obviously Jack Drobble and M-Race are all just DRS training each other. Oh, it's Portimao. Right, that's what I'm thinking of. Fair enough. I knew there was a tracker. Senor Ghost gets the first 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But it's just surprising me that Judy's just extending that gap as much as he is. He could be on the ERS battery level and, to just pull away for quite a bit, and now he could just be on the recharge. But Hungary is a track where it is very difficult to save your battery, as Gergo gets the move done on Simbarox 1, who had dropped out of the DRS. And now we have a train from 2nd to 9th, and now Gergo is going to be leading a second train down to his teammate Partick in P15. I wonder if Simbarox 1 has picked up a little bit of damage, when he hit the back of Finbob potentially.
Yeah, maybe, but he's doing decent right now.
Well, there we go. There's Simbarox 1 with the penalty of his own now, and only on lap 6 of this race. That's going to be, it's another long 29 laps. Look at that, he's missing the apex of the chicane. I do think that Simbarox 1 has got damage. It's obviously you can't tell it from there, as you can see from the camera angles, but the way that he's just running, he's running very wide. He's not hitting apexes. He's struggling through all these corners. I think that he's got minor damage on the front of that McLaren somewhere. But we'll see, obviously, when he does pit as to if he does change that, as Partick there decides to go completely off the track. Guess he's just completely missed his braking zone. Go a little bit further towards the front. I think Martin now is just going to settle into this train. He's now with, potentially with the drivers that he should really be battling with. He's going to just save his ERS now, because obviously he'll have used quite a bit to get to where he is. Obviously still done a good job. He's going to probably have to hope for a safety car of some form, so maybe to try and get rid of that and do a different strategy. But out in front, Judy's lead is now 4.6 seconds over Jack in P2, Drobble P3 with Mick in 4th. And I've said Martin obviously running your top 5. So at the moment, Team Shazoo in the same situation as they were last week in 2nd and 4th. Let's hope not for a repeat.
I really, really hope not to repeat. But Drobble still doing really well for ART. He's just holding off behind Jack. There's literally no point making a move here. Because, if you have the pace, you can stay in front, but they'll just get you again with the DRS. But yeah, like I said, he's doing decent. Martin now up to P5, but both TCM drivers carrying those very, what's the word? Obviously unwanted, but just 5 seconds. They didn't deserve to get them. Undeserved, that was the word, sorry. They didn't deserve to get them, as they were literally not involved in the incident whatsoever with, I think it was BXM, Radius and Flow. It's really unlucky, but Martin has done well to getting himself up into P5. Those softs will be going down the cliff soon enough, though.
Indeed, yeah. In fact, Jack actually was quicker than Judy in that previous lap, so maybe now's the time, as Langman having a half look there on the inside of Maxi going into turn 1. Maxi made a mistake in the penultimate corner, almost lost DRS, in fact, actually, and it gave Langman half an opportunity there to overtake the FGE man, but Maxi just about held on. I think he used a bit of battery to make sure he can close back in on Jordan in front of him, but that was the first mistake that we've seen from the FGE man, who's having to do a decent job at the moment in P7, running a bit wide there through the turn 4. Langman once again closing in. Langman actually looking quite good at the moment, looking quite racy, and maybe want to get him moved on later in the lap. But that gap now between P9 and 10 up to 2.3 seconds, 2.4 seconds now. So clearly there is, obviously there is a pace difference between the drivers here, and it's Josh Gilly, unfortunately, who's in the second train, who's going to lose out here. Obviously, he got one. Well, he himself, like his teammate Martin, does also have a 5-second penalty, but his was for a collision. Whether he caused it or not, I don't know. Obviously, we'll have to see later on with any reports that do come in. Obviously, BX7 and Radius, who had to pit to get their front wings changed, went onto a medium set of tyres. Obviously, they'll go a double medium if they went for the balanced option and try and, maybe sneak a point or two, perhaps. You just have to wait and see, or just
Trouble.
pray for a safety car. Oh, didn't actually notice there,
Sorry,
but yeah, trouble. Actually, yeah, overtaking Jack has decided that he wants to get a move on and does go ahead of the Shizou driver. But that again, that gap has slowly come down by a few tenths that previous lap, Zach. So maybe the soft tyres are now starting to drop off more than the hard tyres as they come into play.
yeah, definitely. I mean, Trudy still has a good gap ahead, but like you said, the gap has, I think last time I checked it was like 4.8, and now it is just going into the low 4 seconds, high 3 seconds. So maybe TF10 or the TF10 engineer will be thinking to box those drivers or driver, sorry, soon. But obviously, yeah, Shizou's still in a very good position, P3 and P4, just still a very, very good haul of points. But still do have Martin behind, who will be in a similar situation to Shudy with those soft tyres. But obviously, Martin, with that 5-second penalty, is going to drop him to, after pit stops, probably like, what, P14-ish, I want to say. But as his teammate makes a move over ATX James into the right-hander, into P12.
Indeed, yes. So Josh actually finally getting a move done as Simbrox 1 has now dropped out of the DRS of Gergo now. Gergo actually closing in a little bit onto Finbob. But we're going forward with Josh Gilly now. He's probably going to have to get a move done. And indeed he does. There we go. DRS open on the inside of the McLaren. And Josh Gilly, oh, actually nearly outbraking himself ever so slightly. Simrox wanting sticking his nose back in on the apex. But that's Josh now up 2 places in half a lap there into P11. And now he's going to have to try and close that gap down to Gergo in front of him, who's just now all on his own. But as you can see, actually, Martin there was, I think, at one point getting close to dropping out the DRS. He's now managed to close in a little bit more. But gap out in front now is finally, for the first time, just dipped, or briefly dipped, just under 4 seconds. So I just have to see how these hard tyre runners now can keep this pace going. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, it's all right. I was trying not to sneeze.
But yeah, some gaps are starting to emerge in the mid-pack now. Like, it's just 9/10, 8/10 gaps happening. But people will be thinking of boxing. Two-stop is obviously just not a thing in this game, really. So it will just be soft medium or hard medium. But people have started to stop and make moves now. But actually, Jack has dropped off from trouble.
Yeah, he has dropped off from trouble. I'm not too sure what's happened there. I missed that. I just went on board with M-Racer because I just noticed it. But indeed, Drobble has actually pulled out of the DRS of Jack. And, well, has Drobble got the pace in? Is Jack starting to suffer ever so slightly? I'm not too sure, but we'll see if the Shizou driver can close back in. Obviously, he's got his teammate at least behind him as a buffer, as a rear gunner, essentially, to protect him from any overtakes from behind. But yeah, certainly Jack's struggling a little bit at the moment as Radius now picks up a penalty and in fact has decided to box, and he's called it a day. So we are now down to just the single BRT runner of Finbob, who himself is just, and I mean just, clinging onto DRS in front of him.
Yeah, but Radius now resides in pits. He clearly sees that his race just isn't going to work out with that first lap incident. But yeah, just everything's kind of slowing down a bit now before pit stops. Some moves still being made by drivers, as you see Senor Ghost trying or gets the move done on Simbarox for P13, that is.
Indeed, he does. Yeah, so yeah, I think this is just clarified that Simbarox 1 does have some damage, as Josh has now caught up to Gergo, who's lost a bit of time this last lap and a bit. So Josh now will have the DRS on the AMS man. Gergo does defend to the inside line. The first driver I've seen actually defend or try to defend, but comes to no avail. Josh is already ahead of him before the apex of turn 1. He's now up into the top 10. And he's now got a 3.4 second gap to try and close in onto Finbob in front of him, as Partik actually has now got a move done on Simbarox 1, who is just, he's now unfortunately at the back of this straight and is just slowly falling away.
Yeah, just letting Josh Gilly gets a 3 second.
Yes,
that
Josh
takes his tally up to 8 seconds now.
Yeah,
obviously will be 3 when that 5 second gets inevitably removed when he boxes for is presumably medium serve fighters.
Indeed, yes. As back up towards the leaders train, well, from second to ninth, and Jack has now just managed to get himself back into the DRS of Drobble, but Drobble has lost about 3/10 to Chudy in the last lap and a bit, so maybe Chudy was just, recharging his battery a little, letting Drobble try and do all the work to try and close in, but Chudy's pace is still decent, and in fact, obviously Martin's is as well. Can't see if Jack actually got DRS there, and I'm just going to quickly go on board with Emre. So the answer is he did not get it through the detection point. A little bit strange there, because I thought he was under a second. As Simbarox 1 does indeed make a stop, I am going to quickly go on board with him to see if he does change his wing, just to confirm if he has damage or not. The answer is there, he is not changing it.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't think that damage. I think he was just slightly involved with it, but he got off quite luckily.
Maybe it's just it's ever so light. He just thinks it's not worth it. But I just don't see as to why his pace was just that poor. I just don't. That's just me. Anyway, that's just me. But we are on lap 13. We are already now over a third of the way through this race. It has actually flown by, considering apart from the carnage on lap 1, and obviously Martin coming to the field, not a massive amount has happened. Obviously, Judy does still lead the way. Jack has now actually fallen out of the DRS again of Drobble, and I think there might be some team orders here from Team Shazoo. I don't know if Smeggy is the engineering. I believe he is engineering for the two drivers, but I wonder if there is going to be a swap around here. So long as M-Racer is close enough, and indeed there he goes. He's got the DRS, maybe a bit of battery involved as well. Jack just easing off the throttle slightly, and indeed M-Racer does go into P3. So there is a swap there from the Shazoo drivers, and hopefully maybe now Mick can close back in to Drobble so he can get in that DRS once again. Finbob also he is still staying in that DRS, and Gergo is now just, comfortably actually following Josh Gilly since he was overtaken a few laps ago. Wake up, come on, wakey. I'm allowed to be tired, not you.
Oh, sorry, mate, I'm not allowed to be tired anymore. You old man.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, if we look to Judy ahead, obviously we did see him lose a bit of that time, but he has just kept it around at 4 seconds. But I imagine he will be looking to box. Fucking hell, I'm so sorry.
Yep, there we go. That's it.
Oh, sorry. In the next few laps, this question.
Well, the thing is, though, he's got the luxury to actually go further. He's got a 4-second gap. He's not under any pressure from behind, so you can actually extend this run a little bit further. Once again, for the second time, I've seen Maxi now go wide the penultimate corner as Martin does indeed now box this lap, so he will serve that 5-second penalty. Unfortunately, that'll drop him further back down, but that'll be him now onto the medium tyres. But he's going to do 21 racing laps on those medium tyres. That he is asking a lot from that, but I suppose he had to do something to try and minimise the loss that he might get initially. Short, but we'll just have to see how he goes as the race goes on. But M-Racer did close in onto Drobble. He has got the DRS, and what that has done is not only has it brought Jack with him, Jordan has now dropped out of the DRS.
Oh yes.
But it's very briefly, he was out of the DRS. He's now just about got back in it again, but it is so close, and it's the same with Maxi as well. Again, he's borderline to losing it on Jordan, so we're now seeing the pace difference starting to come in here between these drivers up towards the sharp end of the grid. Finbob actually closing in onto the back of Langman, who's now made a mistake. So drivers are making mistakes as Maxi goes wide there at the right-hander, and I think that's him now done. I don't think he's going to get DRS, and unless he can find him a tenth of a second, I don't think he is. Jordan has actually closed back in onto the Shazoo drivers, so good effort there from the ATX man. But Maxi, because of where the detection point is, was not within that 1 second. And indeed he was not, as Langman has jumped the gun. So he's going to be the first driver, because he will come out ahead of Martin. Because of his, in fact, Martin is at the back of the grid. He's behind the G-League driver of Ultra. But yeah, I think Langman is going to trigger it all here. He's actually in before Chudy, which is a bit of a surprise. But that might now trigger the rest of the pack to maybe one or two of them to react.
Yeah, well, because obviously you don't want to get caught in the undercut, especially in this track, as it's really hard to overtake. But Ultra tries to go around the outside of Martin's done one. It doesn't work because Martin is on those fresh mediums, whereas Ultra is on the 15 lap old hards, along with everyone in the top 11. But you got Simbarox going side by side with BXM, and BXM's round.
I
He tried to go
just
side by side with the fast right-hander,
yeah.
and obviously BXM. You could call it karma, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I did just about get on board with that at the right time. And indeed, obviously, yeah, there was a bit of contact made. As Simbrox one now looking for the inside move on Mirage there. Gets the move done, and Martin now will want to follow him through. Look at the that's a nice helicopter shot through view there, and it got the and nice little view there of Martin going around. Get a good move done on there on the G League driver. Martin will now probably want to get the DRS and make a move on the FG driver in front as Sinya goes and Gergo now pits. So as Chudy still stays out, which obviously he's got the luxury to do, but that gap has just dramatically dropped now to 2.9 seconds. So it's fair to say those soft tyres are now gone. He is literally running on the rubber, kind of like slick tyres on a wet track, or worn intermediates on the on a dry track. As Martin down the inside with DRS on Simrox one gets up into P11, but it just shows the amount of time that he's lost because Langman is 3 seconds down the road, has 1 lap fresher tyres, and that, well, obviously that 5-second penalty, more than likely undeserved, is going to cost him.
Yeah, it definitely will cost them, as they do have to gain quite a bit of time. Also, like we said, just very unfortunate as a G League Mirage. Don't know why I did an accent or half accent, but Mirage and Antonio Ghost gets a 3 second.
Was that warranted? Did it need that?
No, not really. Can't lie.
No, not really. As Chidi stays out another lap, he's lost half a second currently on this lap. As Jack and Jordan and Maxi all now pit. Obviously, Drobble and M-Racer stay out. Obviously, M-Racer has to stay out as Ultra now picks up a time penalty. So I personally think we're going to see these top 3, or at least Chudy, pit this lap. I can't see these soft... I want to know what his tyre percentage is. I would really like to know. It'd just be a good difference between pad and wheel users, I guess, as to the OP tyre wear that they have. Going up the hill now, Drobble, 2.3 seconds now behind Chudy. M-Racer on his tail. Finn Bob decided to stay out, as did Josh and Partig. So they are they are the top 6 now not to have pit, along with the G League drivers still yet to box. Everyone else has boxed. Obviously, BXM has boxed, but he's on 16 lap old mediums, obviously, because he pit at the end of lap 1. Halfway through this race, and yeah, can anybody catch Chudy? No.
That's my Alex.
No is the answer to that. Well, one thing I can say is Martin has come out ahead of Jack and Jordan, but that shows the massive pace undercut that these fresh mediums had initially. So even though he lost
top 3 box,
a little surprising actually that maybe Drobble and M-Racer did not decide to stick it out an extra lap or 2 just to have even more fresher tyres. But they've obviously decided to box now. Finn Bob does indeed stay out, as does Josh Gilly. Josh may as well, obviously, to see if anything can happen so he can maybe get a free pit stop to get his, whilst he serves his 5-second penalty. But around the final corner now, as I see the FGE drivers doing a driver swap there, and no surprise, obviously, with Maxi having 5 lap fresh tyres. But out the pits here are Drobble and M-Racer. M-Racer just about holding off Jordan, I believe, but Jack is side by side with Drobble here. This is for net position. Down the hill into turn 2, obviously, Drobble is going to be on very cold tyres. Jack on the inside there. But Drobble hangs it round through the outside and has the inside for turn 3. Defends very well. M-Racer just about hung it out to dry on Jordan. So, boxing early. Jack actually was about a second behind M-Racer. So the undercut just shows that it was fairly powerful, but maybe not as much as it could have been.
Yeah, definitely. And we've still got 2 people left to box. And that is Finn Bob and Josh Gilly. Obviously, Josh Gilly with that 5 seconds, he's going to drop down quite a heap of positions after these pit stops. But yeah, we can see the range of tyre ages in the medium runners right now as Finn Bob and Josh Giddy both stay out an extra in those odds.
Indeed, yes. Well, obviously, the net leader at the moment is actually going to be FRT's Langman. Obviously, he does have 3-lap older tyres to Chudy, but what he has got is a TRL Martin leading a train of cars on older... Oh, there's a bit of lag there from Martin, I think, unfortunately. And Drobble just... Oh. That's the easiest movement he could ever do, but he's out broke. Oh, no. More lag. There we go. He's now sorted. I was going to say that Martin was going to lead a train there to maybe hold this lot up. But he's not held up Drobble. Drobble takes P5. But yeah, Langman will be your provisional leader so long as there's no VSCs or safety cars. As we go into lap 20. But yeah, well, that gap though was at over 3 seconds. It's now down to 2.3 as Chudy closes in. But Drobble only a 1.4 off the back of Chudy. Can he close that gap? Can he reel him in?
Maybe, possibly, but we never know. We'll just have to see. Is that Langman is the net race leader? That's pretty cool for FRT.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously his teammate has not done very well, as we've seen in the early stages of the race. But yeah, obviously Langman, see what he can do from P1 when Finn Bob and Josh inevitably box. But those two actually have stayed out another lap.
Indeed, yeah, as Martin has actually already dropped out of the DRS. Of Drobble in front of him. So Jack is going to have to get a move on here because he can't let Drobble get away too far up the road, and he's not close enough to make a move there on the inside of turn 1. So Shazoo are going to have to get a double overtake done realistically if they want to not lose too much ground on those in front of them. Gap now between Langman and Chudy is 1.5 seconds, so I expect him probably the next lap. Well, he might even have DRS by the end of this lap, potentially Chudy. But Langman himself is now in the DRS. He's within the DRS of Josh in front of him. But it's a case of how much is he going to get held up here by the TTM man as he come through the middle sector. And this is probably the worst place for him to now have closed in. I mean, he can stay behind him if he wants to try and get to use the DRS to his advantage to make an overtake. But look at the pace difference there between the compounded tyres. And in fact, Langman has decided he's not going to wait. He goes down the inside into the beginning of sector 3 through the 90-degree right-hander, and he does take P2 away. But that has now brought Chudy into play. He has now got the DRS on the back of Josh Gilly. So I think Langman potentially in the next lap could be a sitting duck as Josh has now decided to pit. So that's FRT's worst nightmare. It's a result for TF10, and Chudy is in the DRS.
Yeah, not very good. Definitely not what I wanted as Chudy. Is going to be looking to pounce.
As oh my word, near 3 wides there. Sorry, Zach, nearly 3 wide briefly there between the Shazoo boys and Martin. But both Shazoo drivers have got ahead of the TTM driver. They needed to do that. They got it done as Ultra has binned it in the middle sector. And how is that not a safety car?
Good question. I do not know. That's a bit dangerous.
What?
It's binned it, but
how is that not? I mean, Chudy, I've just realised, obviously, Chudy has taken the lead. But where's the safety car? I mean, the first one was a VSC and not even a safety car. And now Ultra has binned it, unless he's retired on track. I wouldn't have thought he'd have done that, but he's clearly binned. How is there no safety car?
Good question,
how strange. But anyway, we move on. As
we move.
Obviously, Chudy out in front now, trying to pull away from Langman to get him out of the DRS. At the moment, Langman just about hanging on. Is he going to be within the detection point? Oh, I think he might have dropped out of it. I think he's dropped out of it. Drobble didn't get in it himself. So does the letterbox open? No, it does not. So Chudy already now clear of Langman's DRS. Drobble will now just gain him because he's on the fresher tyres. He will close in, but look at the gap differences. Once again, Shazoo go with a driver swap. Obviously, M-Racer was the quicker driver and he's on the fresher tyres. It makes sense to to put Mick out in front. So Shazoo running 4th and 5th. It is good points at the moment still, and they will closing obviously with Langman's pace will just slowly deteriorate. Jordan got a move done on Martin on that previous exchange, and Maxi is now closing in on the experienced man. That makes him sound I made that sound really bad there.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
Would have been worse. As Drobble now is 4 tenths behind Langman. gaining quite quickly as Langman is on those 3-lap old and medium compound off tyres. So I imagine Jobble is going to try and get the move on the main straighters. Judy, 2 seconds in the lead. I imagine he's just going to fuck up, sorry. Go into distance.
Quite possibly,
It's very,
yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, Martin has now dropped out the DRS already of ATX's Jordan. Maxi getting held up here quite badly. We'll go back on board with them in a second, but this is the battle now for P2 on the road. And Langman, he may have been in the lead provisionally, briefly, but that was short-lived, and now it was short-lived for P2 as Drobble to the inside gets an easy move done with DRS. Oh, Langman broke very late there, almost ran into the back of him, but he just about avoided him. Maxi getting a much easier move done on Martin, and Senor Ghost getting a move done on ATX James. So that's him now up into 10th place. So AERT having a decent double points finish here at the moment in 2nd and in 10th place respectively. Obviously, still have a long way to go. Obviously, Senor Ghost does have a time penalty, but he's got plenty of time to maybe try and pull away from ATX James. As M Racing now 1.5 seconds behind Langman, getting the hammer down. He's got to close in on the FRT man if he wants any chance of closing in on Drobble as Chudy's lead. Obviously, Chudy initially was about 1.4 clear of Drobble. That gap has now gone up to 2.6 respectively.
Yeah.
As just looking there, Kenzie in the chat saying a dub hold up there to Bolero folks. Obviously, that will be aimed at Langman. Obviously, doing a good job holding up Drobble with that gap increasing as Langman has dropped out the DRS of Drobble and M Racer is in the DRS. So unfortunately, I think for Langman, this is just good. This is inevitable that he's just going to lose yet another position, and FRT's podium chances are slowly, well, not slowly slipping away. They are slipping away because there's more drivers behind M Racer that will just queue up, that'll want to get an overtake done. Yeah, I tell you one thing I am still impressed by is Jordan Arnold here. I mean, I have seen him race, in other leagues and everything, in other tiers, but he's doing a very good job here. He's stuck to the back of Shazoo pretty much all race, so he's done a great job here. Obviously, Maxi.
And bear in mind, it's like ACM for him right now, so.
Yeah.
Respects.
Exactly. So yeah, no, he's doing a very good job here. As M Racer now 2/10 behind Langman, as Senor Ghost picks up his 2nd time penalty. And unfortunately, what could have been a good double points finish there for AERT is now slowly falling away. I tell you, one person we do need to keep an eye out on, Zach, is Finbob, down in P12, but is on the freshest tyres. It'll be interesting to see where he can finish in these final 10 laps. As M Racer getting very close to the back of Langman as we come through the final sector now. I think he'll just easily get a move. I mean, look at the grip difference there. 3-lap fresher tyres. The grip difference is something to behold. As Finbob gets a move done on James there for P11, which was inevitable. He'll probably get Senor Ghost on the straight, maybe if he can get close enough. But Langman defending to the middle of the circuit, which he is allowed to do. He's trying to break the toe there, but M Racer not having that whatsoever. Goes down the inside. Easy move done there, and he's back on the podium.
Yep, good from M Racer and BX. I should ignore him. Anyway, good move from Emrys to get himself and his Shizuka, or the Red Bull, into P3. He's going to try and attack Trouble, but he has a 1.6 second gap. As I imagine Jack is going to try and get past Langman as well to make it a Shizou 3-4, which, like we were talking about before, because of TCM's quality ban, say Shizou or TF10 can't get a double podium as Flo got taken out. Say Shizou gets 2 and 3, that's a good chunk of points which they can get into TTM. But TTM are both in the points as it stands, past the P8 right now, 1.7 behind Maxi.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, well, yeah. Martin is obviously, he made that early call. He had to do something to minimise and negate that 5-second penalty. So I think P8 I think Finbob actually might close in on him towards the end of this race. He is 4.3 seconds behind him at the moment, but he's got 7-lap fresher tyres, and Finbob is a man on the move at the moment. Now Langman he's just not got the DRS there on M Racer, so he's dropped out of it. So I think next lap Jack is going to maybe get a move done and obviously did make it a Shizou 3-4 at the moment for the time being, and then see what Jordan can do afterwards. Maxi unfortunately is just losing time now that he dropped out the DRS. Unfortunately, the FGE man is just not quite got the pace of those in front of him, but a P7 result is still very respectable. as we'll stay on board with Jack. But yeah, Finbob closing in now onto the back of Gergo. He's not. I mean, just look at the pace that he's got. You know, I think he was like 1.8 seconds behind exactly a lap ago. It's now 8:10s, which also included an overtake. And Finbob is really on the move. And I don't see why he maybe can't even catch up to Maxi. Zach, what do you think?
I reckon he can. Obviously, Maxi, I've just checked his Twitter. No, not stalking. He is new to NA from what I've seen, so maybe that experience, lots of experience from Martin, will help him catch up. But as we said that, Maxi has just gained about a tenth or two on him in this recent sector. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll obviously just have to wait and see. Now, I am just keeping an eye on M-Racer and Drobble because that gap has come down a bit, and M-Racer is getting very close to getting with the DRS of the AER team man, so we'll keep an eye on that, but we're on board with his teammate, Jack, here, as he comes through the final corner now. 4/10s behind, FRT Langman in front of him as we ride on board, but there's the DRS on the battery, and that's easy as you like. Langman did not defend that in the slightest. Once again, though, it looked like he got so close to the back, but it's just the camera angle, I think, that time, as Finbob now makes a move done on Gergo for P9. That was also a very easy move done there. So he's now got 3-second gap to close in on Martin, which I think he can easily do, you know, with having 7 lap fresher tyres, as Josh Gilly gets a double overtake done on Partick and Simba Roxwell, and he makes his way up into P13. Also has the same lap. Yeah, he has the freshest tyres besides BXM on the same strategy as Finbob. But obviously, that 5-second penalty he had to serve as well. Plus, he's also got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Is not really going to take anything potentially here as Josh from this race. But we'll just have to wait. Obviously, we'll just see. I mean, anything can still happen. The gap out in front is 2.8 seconds between Tudy and Drobble. Not really changed too much. But what has changed is M-Racer to Drobble. He's within 1 second of the AER team man. P2 and P3 is still on the cards here for either of them.
Definitely is for Shizuka, but if they want to get a double podium, Jack is going to have to catch up. But he is on those older tyres compared to the top, to Drobble and them, sorry.
Yeah.
And Judy, sorry.
Yeah, no, I personally, I think Jack with a P4 is probably the best that he's going to get out of this, unless something happens in front, or if Drobble maybe, or you know, someone picks up a time penalty. But obviously, the top 3 have the freshest tyres, you know, from those in the top 8. So it's just all down to pace between them. But obviously, yeah, M-Racer getting close now to the back of Drobble with 6 and a bit laps to go. He's got plenty of time. He does not have to rush. He can, you know, he can pick and choose where he wants to overtake. He could leave it till as late as he possibly wants, but we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, Langman actually did stay in the DRS of Jack, which actually might be the best thing for Jack here, because, you know, Jordan is still behind. And he knows he's got the better grip compared to Langman. So he might actually have to pressure Jordan into making a move. Maxi still 2.6 behind. Martin slowly just falling further and further back, as we'll actually go on board with Finbob, I think, because that guy, I mean, look at that. He's going to be within the DRS of Martin come the end of this lap.
Yeah, he will be, as the gap due to Drobble has extended to 3.2. And I did just see, I was on board with Jack. He did make a few little mistakes on this lap, as Mirage gets a 3-second time penalty in P16.
Indeed, yeah. So on board, just going on board with M-Racer, just going to see if he's going to do anything on the back of Drobble. Is he going to go for a move or not? The simple answer to that is no. Langman just going to stay behind Jack for the time being. Is Finbob close enough to get a move done on Martin? The answer is no. But I think we will stay on board with the BRT man, as he gets a bit of a wobble out of the exit of off turn 1 there. He did go on the battery there to try and close in on the gap onto Martin, but not quite close enough to get a move done into turn 2. But I think this move is inevitable as they climb up the hill now. He's on the battery once again. He's not going to look for a move down into turn 4, is he? No, he isn't. I thought he was for a brief second there, but surely Finbob is going to take P8 away from the TTM man, and TTM will lose another position in the points tally that they're going to gain. I mean, just look at the pace difference there. It is something else.
Yeah, but Finbob, like I said, 2/10 behind Martin now. They'll put Martin to P9, which will make TTM have a P9, and as it stands, P14 finish is Josh Gilly. We're going to go over to Tim Partick as Mirage gets another penalty. You certainly need to Drobble from Belgium. With all due respect to Drobble, that's the only penalties he has. 9 seconds. I think Drobble had
He had 15.
What? 15. Yeah.
Yeah, he had 15 as Finn Bob through the final corner now. DRS open. And Martin's actually going to defend this. He's gone to the inside lane. As a fake move there from Finn Bob. Good look to go to the outside, then switch back to the inside. He is now harvesting. What a poor camera angle that is. But DRS there, probably what battery that he had left that he could use. And Finn Bob is ahead of Martin. He's up into P8. Can he now close in 3.5 seconds to Maxi? I'm not quite sure he can. But nonetheless, it was a good move.
Yeah, it was a good move from Finn Bob. His next target is Maxi. And it's a 3.6. I doubt it'll get him, though. Unless he just turns into Schumacher. Without the taking our driver's part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan Arnold for ATX now is 7/10 by Langman. Langman on those 15 lap old mediums, so maybe it could be a P5 for ATX, which would be a very decent order points for the, I want to say American because Cameron's it, but just, yeah, for the ATX team. As obviously Langman is 5/10 behind Jack. To be fair, he did hang on to Jack after getting overtaken quite well, but I doubt he will be able to overtake as he has the older tyres.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, he is actually, like I said, he is sticking to him rather well, actually, as Langman. I think Jack just doesn't quite have the pace in the race here. I mean, he's not had the... I mean, M-Racer has definitely been the quicker of the two drivers. And yes, he's got 1 lap older tyres, but the fact he's not pulled away from Langman, who's got 2 lap older tyres compared to him, just shows what a good job here that he is doing at least. As Senior Ghost and James once again battling it out on the exit of turn 1, and now Josh Gilly's involved here. We're going to have a 3-way battle going to turn 2. Josh Gilly's kind of been boxed here. He's got nowhere to go as the 2 in front of him go side by side through turn 2. Can Josh get a little switchback done maybe through turn 3? As he goes, oh God, look, I mean, that was so close at the exit there. Between the 3 of them as he come through turn 4, Senior Ghost is in P11, James 12, and Josh is in 13th. If Josh wants to try, as he goes over the sausage curve at the exit of turn 5, that ruins any chance he could have had coming through the middle sector. He will close back in quite quickly because he does have much fresher tyres. Obviously, the tyre wear will be much different. But yeah, that was certainly for a moment there looked quite hairy.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a pretty decent crash there, but yeah, just 2 laps to go now. Julie crossing the line. Don't know performance the guys had so far. 3.1 seconds in the lead. Just been a really good performance from him. No one's been able to catch him.
Yeah.
The first time I've actually seen him convert a pole to win, to be fair to him. But
there's still 2.5 laps to go. There's still time for something to happen. You know, let's just wait and see. Let's not, don't jinx it just yet for him. As Josh Gilly now on the back of James as they go down the pit straight. He got into turn 1. He looks like he was going to fake it there. Was Josh Gilly he goes down the inside of the ATX man. James goes a bit wide there. I don't think he needed to. Josh left him plenty of room. And the TTM man does get up into P12, which unfortunately for the time being, he'll just drop back a place anyway. In fact, 2 places with Partick within 3 seconds of him and the time penalty that he does have. One thing that I have been noticing is Maxi was slowly and is still slowly catching the train in front, but I think it's a bit too little too late for him to do anything. But it just shows that maybe he's got a little bit more pace there to show, and maybe losing that DRS just obviously didn't really help him. But, still a P7 for FGE is still very good considering his teammate has unfortunately dropped back into P15 once again. We'll stick on board with Josh Gilly because M-Racer still is, 7/10 now off the back of Drobble. Senior Ghost picks up, I believe, what is his now 3rd time penalty of this race. So at least Josh Gilly might gain a place from him, but lose 2 from those behind. So he'll lose 1 place, he'll finish in unlucky P13 for the moment. But with 2 laps to go, yeah, Trudy looking very comfortable out in front. He's actually led from start, and then retook the lead, and it's just been on a man on a mission, and he's just been on a different level. He was able to cover everybody, do whatever he wanted to. Josh, not quite close enough there to Senior goes through turn 1, but we will now go on board with M-Racer because this is where the battle will be, as he'll probably want to make a move as they start the final lap.
Yeah, it will be M-Racer, like it said. I do know his battery, but can't say for purposes of not getting sacked. But yeah, he will definitely wanting to make that move on Drobble. But if Drobble can hold on to P2, that will be a mega 29-ish points ART.
Indeed, it would be, yes. Obviously, as they come through the final sector now for the penultimate time Emirates at half a second off Drobble. So he needs to get a bit closer if he can to actually make use of this DRS and what battery that he has. Obviously, I don't know what battery that they have. Obviously, Zach is the only person who knows besides the drivers themselves. Chudy starts the final lap. Here we go now then. As they come down the pit straight, Emirates, he's not close enough. He is not close enough to the back of Drobble, and that's all well, unless he can have a good run out of turn 2. Sorry, from turn 1 in through it, coming in towards turn 2, and the answer is not quite, as he is now harvesting briefly as he came through into the entry of turn 2. So Drobble actually hangs on. Langman wasn't close enough to Jack, so Jack stays in P4, so that no moves being done. Finbob isn't making any impressions on Maxi in front of us. He's too far behind. BXM picks up another time penalty, but that's just, we don't talk about that. So that kind of really was a very anticlimactic last lap, starting again, kind of like Spain last week. Indeed, yes, but out in front.
As we look to the front, I'll do this. Thank you.
What?
As we look to the front,
lead commentator does this.
You can do it.
Oh, Partick, why have you just gone and done that? You'd have gained more places. Oh, well, that was silly of you.
Take it away, Robert.
Anyway, through the penultimate corner, he's not looked back. He took pole position, and he's finally going to convert a pole position into a win. It's TF10's Chudy who takes the win here at Hungary as we go into the break week. A fantastic result there for him. Drobble takes P2 for what is an improvement for AERT. Third last week, second this week. It's their second podium in 2 races. Racer rounds out your top 3. Jack in P4, getting a very good double points finish here for Team Shazoo. Langman, on that different strategy, actually gained him a net couple of places. So it was a good strategy in the end by FRT. So Harv, if that was you, kudos to you for that one. For that, obviously, the penalties in behind for those further down the field. James eventually gets P11. Obviously, Josh P12, and actually hung out ahead of Partick because of his penalty that he received. But Team TTM finishing 9th and 12th. We'll have to obviously wait and see as to exactly the points loss that they take. It's not as bad as it might have been with TF10 only having 1 finishing driver, but it'd be Shazoo, after the calamities of a 0 points haul last week, who'll take advantage.
Yeah. So very good result from Shazoo. 2 podiums on the bounce for ART. Very good result from those 2. And following next up will be interviews from drivers who want them, obviously. But yeah, very good result race today. Tiara Martin getting the in-game drive of the day, which is fair enough. I think going from like 18th to 8th, I want to say. I forgot already, but yeah.
Aye, indeed. I think Ace is trying to that's an interesting, I think he's trying to buy something there about saying about a double Shazoo disqualification. Yeah, I'm not buying that at all.
Trap base.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen now.
Yeah.
News.
I'm not biting. I ain't biting to that whatsoever because I know it's BS. But as the it's not champagne, but as the champagne is sprayed, obviously the top 3 there finishing. But here are your provisional final results. And it is TF10's Judy who wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, followed by Drobble in P2 and Racer rounding out your top 3 different manufacturers and teams there. Jack in P4, Langman into P5 from 12th to 5th. That's a good effort there from Langman, considering, after the poor quality that he had, it's a good recovery. Jordan started 6th, finishes 6th. Can't be too disappointed with that, I guess. Maxi in 7th, Finbob in P8 with Martin in 9th and Gergo rounding up your top 10. Then you have James, Josh Gilly, Partick, Senor Ghost, Simbarox 1, She-League's Mirage, BXM, Ultra, and then Radius and Flow, your non-finishers. And already we have our race winner of Chudy in the chat.
Make sure you include your audio, please.
Yes, make sure you do include your audio. But Chudy, congratulations on finally converting, I hope you don't mind me saying, is finally converting a pole position into a win. It's taken long enough, but it's got to feel good.
Yeah, that was decent. Pace was pretty good. Had some little snaps, but overall I was in the flow the whole race. So yeah, the stroll was good. Everything was perfect.
Yeah, I have a question. obviously, what were your thoughts on the strategy? Obviously, starting on softs, did you think that it would be do you think the win would have been hard if starting on hard? Sorry, but just honestly, what were your thoughts on the strategy? Obviously, starting on softs compared to everyone else around you on hards.
Well, I knew that on pure pace I could win the race, so that's why I chose softs, and I did it in World as well, where I got P2. So yeah, it was another reason to do soft medium. But I think on hard as well, I could have like stayed on like 8, 9 tens to the guy in P2. So yeah, I think my pace was good. So on the hard as well, it could have been the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, just a final thing from me, Judy. Obviously, it was unfortunate as to what happened to your teammates. Obviously, we're not too sure. Obviously, we just about caught it. I'm sure we might have said something in the chat, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens from that. But at least it's a good result. You at least brought the victory home tonight. Obviously, we do have a break week next week. But coming back after that, I'm trying to think as to. Let me just have a quick look at the calendar. We go to
Yeah, I want to say
Bahrain.
that Flo had good pace in practice, so it could have been like a top 5 result for both of us, or maybe even a top 3 looking at his pace. But yeah, things like this happen. So yeah, just move on to the next one.
Good race, mate. Well done.
But yeah, no, but yeah,
Cheers for
obviously, well
commentating.
done, Judy. Obviously, yeah, good result, and
Thanks.
yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
I invited Racer to the party, but yeah, good race from Julie there. Had very good pace throughout the entire distance.
Indeed, yeah.
Like I said, unfortunate for his teammate who got taken out.
Yeah, obviously very unfortunate. Obviously, we'll just have to wait and see on any inquiries as to what comes from that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he was just dominant all race, was Judy. I mean, yeah, doing that soft medium strategy clearly worked, and he could just react when he wanted to. He had the gap, and it was quite, in the end, it was fairly plain sailing for him. Really, he had to just get a couple of overtakes done, but it was, yeah, overall quite easy. I suppose we'll just have to wait and see now if we're going to be joined by our P2 and P3 finishers. Not too sure if they're going to or not, but hopefully they do.
Maybe.
We just have to say we can't wait all night. I'm not waiting 2 hours for someone to decide whether or not they want to do a an interview or not.
Yeah, Grumpy's just said in the driver's chat, P3 at Spain, P2 at Hungary, P1 at Bahrain.
Maybe. Well, yeah, they've gone one better again. Let's wait and see as to, let's see what happens.
Joining, so that will be. I think that is for the race. Since you're the main commentator, you can wrap it up then.
Yeah, well, obviously, clearly M-Racer doesn't want to talk to his boss, and Drobble just doesn't want to talk to us in general. So all I will say to that is, fuck you, Mick. But on that note, that has been CSS Round 8 here at Hungary. Obviously, we will not be here next week. Like I said, it is a break week. We will be back in 2 weeks' time for the final 4 rounds of the season, and it will be Bahrain. We'll be going back out into the Far East. But from myself and from Mr. Zach Clark, I hope you've enjoyed our company. I hope you've enjoyed the race. We'll see you again next time.
Adios.